Am I the butthole for lying about my wife having fertility issues? Update. So, it's been about 3 months since the incident in the post. Our daughter is still the most precious girl in the world, and my wife was very complimented by a few of the commenters. Even though, at the end of the day, I don't think it was wrong to refer to it as fertility issues, I apologized to my sister once she cooled down anyway. She's been going through a lot. Sometimes things aren't about being right so much as, they're about family. Thanks to everyone who told us we had nothing to apologize about, though. My sister forgave us, and we hugged it out. She even apologized about telling her she was appropriating issues, which honestly offended me the most, but that wasn't the end of it. My wife couldn't get rid of this nagging feeling that maybe something could go wrong again and my sister or her husband would tell my parents, so she told me she wanted to come out to them. It was a hard decision for us, because I love them and I was terrified they would disown me and spread gossip about her, but, what can I say? My wife owns me lol. It's her over everyone else for me. She kept getting scared every time we agreed we were going to say something, and it ended up coming out when my mom was telling my wife how much I cried when I broke my arm. She said the most she ever cried was getting a soccer ball launched into her balls. I love my wife. She had to explain it a bit to them, and they're still a little uncomfortable, but nothing has really changed. At first, they were horrified, but they always really liked her and I guess they couldn't just erase that, especially after she explained her situation to them. If anything, I'd say she's made them a bit more open-minded. And I actually got my sister and her husband looking into adoption. Everybody wants a daughter like ours. Anyway, thanks for the advice, everyone. I hope this update makes everybody's day a little brighter. Web link. I'm imagining her on the soccer field vowing, never again. I lost my crap laughing at this and then I showed my wife, who also lost her crap laughing at this. Thanks for making her day. I don't think there is a single person who read this that didn't at least crack a smile. I didn't until trying to picture someone having a laughing fit due to my first reaction being the cliché "oh ouch" from most 90s B-rated family comedy films. Mine was that Peter Griffin sound when he cracked his knee laughing my butt off. Smiling here. Can admit cracked a smile. I'm working on coming out as non-binary in more delicate family relationships, and that comment made me giggle with hope he. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the award. It meant so much to see it, while in the middle of a conversation about deciding next steps to tackle dysphoria. It was amazing timing and very uplifting. Thank you. I wasn't expecting all this love, but I truly feel the strength behind it all. It is pretty goddamn hilarious. I laughed so hard at this, thank you. On the iced coffee all over the dashboard. Thank you for the lunch giggle. And this is why you shouldn't drink and drive. Here I'm more concerned about the reading and driving going on. Crap, yeah. I mean, I get sitting in your car, but this is COVID time. Who's going anywhere but work and bed to be just sitting? I still pick up my meds from the pharmacy because I can't risk them getting lost in the mail, and I'll be honest. Afterwards, sometimes I do just sit in my car just because it's nice to not be sitting at home lol. Some people don't have desk jobs. This might be the comment of the year for this sub. That was hilarious. LOL. This thread has been so wholesome overall, and this comment here was just the icing. This thread and your comment just made my day whole. I hope you have an amazing day today. I had a really crappy day and I've been crying off and on since I woke up. Reading this comment was the first real giggle I've had in over 24 hours, so thank you for that. Dude, I just drooled all over my table laughing at this. Not sure if I should thank you or be mad at you. This just gets funnier each time I reread it. I really don't get this. I've been thinking about it for a bit. Could you tell me what the comment means? Edit. I get it now. That's funny, thanks guys. Scenario: wife gets hit in the balls. Vows to never have it happen again by getting rid of the balls. It's implying she changed genders because she never wanted to feel that pain ever again after being smacked in the nuts full on from a soccer ball. I'm recovering from surgery and it definitely hurt to laugh at this image, but also totally worth it. Smiley face, smiley face. That's hilarious. I went and got my free award just to give you for this. Saving the ball right there, but losing 2 on the play. I remember your last post. Very brave of your wife and congrats on it working out. I don't know how she does it. Thanks. Whether I was the butthole or not, I sort of realized working it out was the most important thing. In some situations, nobody's the butthole, just a lot of people in unique circumstances who are really struggling and sometimes make the mistake of taking it out on each other. Once I extended my hand by giving an apology, stuck out hers. That's a very wise statement. I am legit smiling from ear to ear because you are an awesome person. Also married to an awesome person, it sounds like. Just nothing but love to the whole lot of you, including your sister, your little girl, and your parents who are also growing as people. What a lovely update, heart. You sound like a wonderful person, heart. I hope the grace and compassion with which your wife handled the situation inspires all of you to be a closer family. Bless you, your wife, daughter, and your whole kin. You are showing the world what a family truly means. You and your wife sound like very lovely people, and I'm really glad that you're raising a human together. I missed the original, but I'd say you made the best decision. Sometimes you apologize, not because you did something wrong, but because you want to make something right. I'm so happy things are working out for you and your family. Exactly my thinking. Thanks. There's a lot of focus in general on who's right. When, in some situations, it's just better to apologize and move on. It's what family does. And I said it in another comment, but sometimes you've got to recognize that even if somebody acted out, you have to look at their situation. My sister was struggling, and she took it out on us, but by extending her some grace and apologizing, I think we all left the situation with greater respect for each other and understanding. I also really appreciate what you said about apologies. This sub often disregards that sometimes you apologize because the relationship is more important than being right. That sometimes we apologize even if we're not the one in the wrong because reparation is more important than our ego. There's a lot of wisdom and maturity in that. In my early 20s, one of my co-workers wrote down a bunch of quotes from everyone in our workplace. Mine was, "I'd rather be right than nice." That was very on brand for me at the time. Like you said here, I eventually learned that being technically correct is not the same as doing the right thing. If you can make room for other people's struggles and not make everything about your own ego, your relationships, and your life in general will benefit. I still like being right, but frankly, I'd rather be happy. And I'd rather have people remember me for my kindness than my supposed rightness. You're doing great. I wish you and your family so much love and joy. Thanks for the update. Plus, fertility hormones are no joke. So there's an extra good reason to favor kind resolution over who's right here. She likely felt all the emotions she had very deeply but wouldn't have reacted so strongly / felt so personally hurt if it weren't for the metric crap ton of hormones that amplify all that emotional stuff. If it were merely, not exactly minor thing her, fertility issues with no hormones in her body, she might have been upset but handled it differently. With hormones, a not sad movie might bring tears because there's a semi-sad scene, or even a happy scene, in a person who never cries during even the most saddening movies. A person who normally handles things with grace and panache and doesn't let things ruffle her feathers might seem wildly irrational or hysterical. I hate to use words that are so gender-charged and often used in dismissive and sexist ways, but I mean it in the sense that they are acting differently from themselves in a way that seems off. In a genderless sense, I've seen trans men and trans women experience it during second puberty. Sometimes you want to cry or scream or bang way more than usual, in comparison to their normal selves, because all the hormones be effing with their ability to emotionally regulate. There's a lot of hate towards "I'm sorry you feel that way" being a cop-out of an apology, but used tactfully, it has its place. Your situation is a perfect example. You didn't do anything wrong, but it did come across as insensitive to the struggles your sister has to go through. Apologizing for your part in that hurt is totally appropriate even if you didn't feel like you did anything wrong. The fact that bridges were rebuilt before they could be burned is proof of this. I was actually surprised reading the last post at how many not the buttholes there were and how few no buttholes here there were. I think sometimes subs like this force us into judgment. When you're browsing this sub, you are already in that mindset. But I think many of us heard about this issue early, we would probably be more understanding of both sides. I'm glad you moved past it. I don't think it would have been worth hurting your relationship with your sister. It may not be our fault, but sometimes we still end up with the responsibility. Oh, gosh, I'm so happy to see a positive update. I remember seeing the original. Especially thrilled to hear that your parents accepted your wife's transness. It's always so scary coming out to historically conservative/bigoted people, especially parents. Sending so much love to your family, both immediate and extended. Have a great spring. Thanks. We really had no idea what to expect when it came to my parents. I was surprised by their reaction, but I think people in general have a great way of adapting. My parents always liked my wife, and you can't just turn off liking someone. Nothing about her changed at all, and I think they realized that. When we first started going out, as someone who grew up in a conservative family, I really had no idea what to think when she told me she was trans. At first I asked her, "You want to be a guy?" Because I was just so confused. Once she told me what it actually meant in her situation, I thought it was going to be this big thing I couldn't get past. I spent the whole day thinking about it, how our relationship was going to be completely different, and then, on our next date, nothing changed lol. She was still her and it really didn't make a difference for me or our relationship. If anything, it's made our relationship better because her experiences have shaped her and I wouldn't want a version of her that acted any differently, and I'd never thought of adopting until that was one of my only options. A world where we never adopted our amazing daughter isn't one I would want to live in. Sorry for the tangent and thanks for the well wishes. Have a great spring, and sending love to you as well. I'm very moved by your dating story, not going to lie. Right. They seem like such a beautiful couple. Love this. I hope your parents come back to a nice new normal with your wife. Wishing your family lots of love, heart with arrow. Sweeter than a effing Hallmark movie. Thank you for being you. I'm a trans person who just got out of a really crappy relationship with a cis woman who wanted to erase my experience in order to make herself more comfortable. It was a terrible feeling because I am a better man than I would ever have been were I born cis, because of the complexity of my experiences, and I'm really proud of this. I am really glad your wife has you and you her. Be still my beating heart. That is freaking beautiful. In response to the original post, as someone who is going through IVF and had a miscarriage, I think your sister is being selfish and irrational. Your wife is a woman, she was born without the means to reproduce, making her a woman with infertility. She did not choose to be born in the wrong body. Any couple, who is not able to have children on their own, whether they be gay/lesbian/transgender, is suffering with fertility issues. As someone in a cis/straight relationship struggling with infertility, I feel for all couples who can't conceive no matter the reason. None of it is a choice. I also think it is nobody's business why you made the decision you made to adopt. Adoption is a wonderful thing. Love this answer. Feels like everyone is brushing over the sister's past transphobia. I feel for her, but also the knee-jerk bigotry needs to be worked on for sure. I wonder if it wasn't transphobia but just hurt. Miscarriages and infertility are devastating. Not being able to carry a child because you don't have a uterus is different and devastating in its own right. I think the difference is in one situation you are so hopeful and then crushed, whereas the other situation you know you will never carry a child. Also, IVF hormones take a serious toll on the body. I hope this doesn't come across as transphobic. I don't know any trans people in real life, so I know very little about how it can feel. Miscarriages are devastating, and I bet the sister was looking for support but she didn't know how, and the repressed feelings came out sideways. As someone with PTSD, being that offended definitely seemed like a trauma response, but that's no reason to take it out on someone trans. Getting hope and being let down in the crushing reality of never without ever getting the hope in the first place can be equally painful. The sister decided to engage in suffering Olympics and yes, was transphobic in the process. It probably wasn't intentional and may not have happened if the hormones and trauma weren't there, but 0% transphobia isn't applicable here. I'm glad things worked out at least. Original poster did the right thing for the family even if he wasn't wrong. Thank you for taking the time to explain this. You're welcome. This is a complicated topic and society hasn't quite figured out how to navigate it yet. It's good for everyone to share perspectives so we get a better understanding of one another. I was just about to point this out myself. His sister escaped apologizing for that transphobic line. There's nothing transphobic about it. It's a different experience entirely. Whether you want to technically call it infertility or not is moot. What his sister is going through is devastating and an emotional roller coaster that absolutely guts you every 28 to 30 days. Some things are just not the same. I'm sorry, it doesn't make it transphobic. People like you make me cry tears of joy. This genuinely keeps me alive as a trans person to see such good people who will come to bat for us. That's not necessarily true. Trans women can reproduce, just not as the biological mother of the child. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.